Kundalini energy flow, Ida, Pingla and Sushumna. Now, if you are going through Kundalini awakening journey, you must be aware of the flow of energy in your spinal cord that you feel as the electricity passing through your spinal cord. But is this energy passing through your spinal cord, or it is passing somewhere in your subtle body, in your energy channels? So this discourse will give you clarity about everything that you should know about the flow of Kundalini energy through your Sushumna Nari, and how the role of Ida and Pingla helps to process Kundalini through the Sushumna Nari. So I will explain one by one so that you get the connection among all these and what is your role. Why should you know, first of all, about the functioning of Kundalini, Ida, Pingla or Sushumna at all? What if you don't know? What if you don't want to know? If you are not aware about the flow of Kundalini energy, how the Sushumna functions, or how Ida and Pingla function, what is going to happen to you if you are not aware of this? So if you are not aware of this, first of all, you will always remain confused. You will always remain in dilemma, and you will always be in fear about what is going in you. But once you are aware about the functioning of Kundalini and your Sushumna, Ida and Pingla Nari, then you will do the supportive spiritual practice or the breath work that I will teach you. Some of the techniques I will teach you in this video that you can apply if you are my student already, or if you are going through Kundalini awakening, you are not my student, you have already taken my consulting, then also you can apply these techniques, and these techniques do not have any side effects as long as you are doing it the way I am teaching you. But if you are not my student and you are doing this technique, then it is on your risk, because anything if happens to you in your energy field, then I am not responsible for it. So this disclaimer I am giving it to you, that do these techniques only when you have already been in the projects with me as my student, and also you are currently as my student, or sometime you have taken my consulting for your Kundalini diagnosis and other things. All right. So let me give you the clarity about this particular topic, that is Kundalini energy flow, Ida, Pingla and Sushumna. I will explain to you one by one, because once you know the stepwise understanding behind Kundalini energy and how it uses the energy channels for its flow, it will be easier for you to do the techniques also. Otherwise, without understanding, if you are doing the techniques, then it will be difficult for you to implement the techniques, because you are going to train your brain and nervous system to do the techniques, to activate your involuntary function of breathing. The prime purpose of doing these techniques is to process Kundalini and to activate the involuntary functions of your respiratory centers that have become stagnant or have gone into freeze mode due to your Kundalini awakening journey. All right. So let's start with Kundalini energy flow. You have to understand what is the direction of flow of Kundalini energy, and what is Kundalini energy in terms of its nature of energy. Everything is energy. The universe itself is energy field. Then what is special about Kundalini? Why Kundalini is given so much of importance, or why Kundalini is so much important? You need to know that Kundalini is the life force. It is the life energy. in every species which is a living being, as well as which is not a living being as well. When Kundalini takes the form of a living being, then it has specific functions to perform, and that function is connected to your evolution. Kundalini is a primordial energy. Primordial energy means that it has come from the origin of life itself. When the first unicellular organism, amoeba, was first evolved on this planet, and after that the process led to the evolution of multicellular organism, and millions of years have passed for that event, and during this process so many forms have taken birth and have dissolved. The birth and death that you know is the birth and death of the body. What is the body? It is the form. The formation of energy takes place in the form of body, mind and spirit coming together, condensed in a certain energy field. When the work of Kundalini to evolve in that form is over, Kundalini leaves the body. That is, the spirit leaves the body. Now this Kundalini energy flow, that is, each word is important in this three terms, Kundalini energy flow. If you understand Kundalini, it will be easier for you to understand how it is taking you ahead in your journey. Kundalini is the cosmic electricity. The nature of Kundalini energy is cosmic electricity. It means that it has the voltage of electricity. The electricity that is produced from maybe hydroelectricity or solar electricity or anything, mechanical energy converted into electricity, any kind of electricity. Ultimately, you need to know that this is electricity. If Kundalini is electricity, then it has certain voltage, certain charge in it, and that charge has certain frequency on which it vibrates. So what is the vibrational frequency of Kundalini? It is extremely dynamic. It is extremely volatile in nature. It is like the flow of Kundalini is either in spikes, like too much of steep spikes, or it is sometimes like smooth, like waves. If you understand a wave, then sometimes it has extreme high frequency. It has high amplitude. The wave is like high amplitude. It is vibrating at a very steep spikes are happening. And that is what Kundalini is sometimes. And sometimes the spikes are low. That is, Kundalini is vibrating at a very low amplitude. So, sound waves, if you understand sound waves, then it will be easier for you to understand Kundalini. So, whatever you take, whatever energy form you take, either you take the understanding of electricity or you take the understanding behind sound waves, you will understand that ultimately Kundalini is a moving energy, and that moving energy has a flow. And what is the flow of Kundalini? What is the direction of flow of Kundalini energy? That you need to know. Once you know what is the direction of Kundalini, it will be easier for you to process Kundalini. And all the efforts that you put for your spiritual sadhanas, for your spiritual practices, all these will be easier for you. Because if you keep on doing the breath work or the practices without understanding it, then it becomes very boring for the mind and especially for the brain and nervous system to learn anything. But once you give the understanding to your brain will create different pathways of learning, because you have intellectually satisfied your left brain. That is, you are training your left brain to learn some skills, and that skill is already the skill which the brain has forgotten. Your brain has stopped doing voluntary breathing in you, and that has led to the stoppage of breath work happening in you, that is diaphragmatic breathing. Your breath is on hold, your solar plexus is on hold. So what is happening? all the time you are in hold mode, because your nervous system has taken Kundalini as the alien energy or as a threat, as a danger to the body. So your brain and nervous system doesn't function well. Now, understanding that I'm teaching your brain and you are also teaching your brain through these clarity, Kundalini, if wants to flow, it will always flow in the forward direction. The direction of Kundalini is forward, because the direction of life energy is forward. Life never moves back. Have you ever thought about it, that why life never goes back? This moment is gone, then the next moment comes, then the next moment comes. It is always linear. Linear in the sense of understanding of how you live life. But in reality, everything is absolute. There is no linear energy formation. So, everything is energy, so everything is here and now. But you are seeing that energy flows in a certain direction, and that direction is always forward. This moment Kundalini is here, next moment she will move somewhere else, and it is always flowing, because the nature of Kundalini energy is to flow. And in this flow of energy, when she is obstructed or stopped by some blockages, it clears the blockages. So, what are the blockages faced by Kundalini? The blockages are in the form of mind, ego, your karmas, your vikaras, vasanas, tendencies, patterns, programming, beliefs, conditioning, everything that is composed of, that your subtle body is composed of. And these create blockages in the chakras and the energy channels. And Kundalini's highway or the roadway is the energy channel. Kundalini flows through the Sushumna, ascends to the Sushumna, and the prime purpose of Kundalini is to awaken from the root chakra and then ascend towards Sushumna. The effort of Sushumna, going towards Sushumna, is important for Kundalini, because only through rising through the Sushumna she can be free, and it is very difficult for Kundalini to go towards Sushumna if you have not completed your karmas yet. So, in order to move towards Sushumna, Kundalini needs lots of prana, lots of fuel, lots of ojas, lots of everything that you can give her for its processing. So, from where this prana will come, from where this ojas will come. So, from the first understanding about Kundalini energy flow, it is clear that Kundalini flows always forward. It flows upward when it is doing its awakening process and clearing the karmas, clearing the blockages. It flows through your Sushumna and it is in upward direction. And when it is in upward direction, it needs lots of fuel to go in the upward direction. You can take the analogy of rocket, that in order for the rocket to go into the space, it needs lots of fuel, and that fuel is generated by generating lots of energy through the process of burning the fire and everything that happens in the rocket launcher. Below the rocket launcher, you will see that lots of fires are coming, and this concept is based on the concept of cause. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. The action is the fire creates pressure on the ground, and gravity pushes the rocket up in the space with the same force, and that is how rocket goes up. Same principle applies to Kundalini. Kundalini, in order to move up the Sushumna, suppose this is the Sushumna Nadi and Kundalini is trying to push up, then it has to, lots of fuel needs to be burnt, and that will push Kundalini energy towards the upward direction, and that upward direction will lead to the ascension of Kundalini, breakthrough crown chakra, and you will be free, means Kundalini will be free. This pressure, the pressure of fire, the pressure of the energy is created by burning the ojas, and that ojas needs to be burnt in the presence of prana. And from where this prana will come? All this prana will come from your physical body. But you will say that my physical body does not have any prana. From where I will supply prana? Then let me tell you and educate you that whatever energy is produced by your cells, the origin of this energy is the oxygen and the prana itself. And after all the processing happened by your cells, the last product that is produced by your system, by your existence as body, mind and energy, the last product, that is element which is produced, is the ojas. Now this ojas needs to be burnt to create tejas. What is tejas? The fire. The fire that will create cosmic prana. But to burn the fire, you need ample amount of prana, and that prana is collected from your body. Prana, when you inhale oxygen, the prana which goes into your body is actually the bioelectricity that remains in your nervous system. It does the function of the nervous system. It facilitates the function of the nervous system, brain, and everything that happens in your physical body. But this prana in its subtle body, when it is in the mental level, it becomes your emotion and the thoughts and the sensations and everything that you feel as mind. And these all energies are reclaimed. The pranic energies are all reclaimed from your body and mind, and those are used for the combustion of ojas. When this combustion happens, lot of heat is produced in the body, lot of energy is produced, and that energy pushes Kundalini energy towards the Sushumna Nadi. Now all these combustion happens in your sacral chakra region, solar plexus region. That is the point of combustion. The prana, the 5 pranas in the body are collected together. What are the 5 pranas? The prana that you inhale takes different formation in your body based on the function. The prana which is responsible for your respiratory function remains as prana in this region, in your heart region, in your chest region. When this prana goes down in your digestive system, it takes the formation of samana. Now this prana has different direction to flow. When prana is in the respiratory system and the digestive system is in the respiratory system and heart region, the flow of prana is upward. In the upward direction, prana flows. When that same prana goes into your digestive system, it takes the formation of circular motion, and that circular motion of prana leads to the digestive function that happens in your body. And after the digestive system, your stomach, liver, spleen, all these kidneys, all these are actually making use of the samana vayu. When we tell the name, it becomes samana vayu, prana vayu, samana vayu. Vayu means air. It's like wind energy. Okay. Now this, after the samana vayu, what happens when it goes towards the intestine, your genitals and the lower abdominal region, it takes the formation of apana. Now the direction of apana is downward moving. It goes down, pushes the stool and urine and everything towards the downward. All the toxicity, it pushes down into the body, all the gases, and that is how you evacuate the toxicity from the body. And when this prana is making you vomit unwanted waste that comes out in the form of burp, in the form of vomiting, any undigested food is pushing up. It happens due to the function of Udan Vayu. Udan Vayu's function is to throw everything out that your body doesn't need. And the fifth prana is the Vyana. Vyana is responsible for your blood circulatory function, your lymphatic circulatory function, means your lymphatic system and blood circulatory system. Everything is governed by Vyana Vayu. Now what happens? This leads to the circulation of blood throughout your body through your peripheral nervous system. So everything is connected. Now you have understood the 5 types of prana and how they perform different functions in the body. All these prana for Kundalini's ascension are collected and move towards the belly, move towards the Denshan point. Denshan point is the point below, means if this is the navel and if you go in the subtle body, then you will get the Denshan point. At the Denshan point, all the energies are collected and like used for burning the ojas, and all these happen energetically. You will not be able to see anything, you will only feel it. You will feel that your breath has gone into hold mode, and that hold mode is due to the cessation of all the prana from the energy channels. That is, all the energy channels in your entire body are deprived of the prana that is actually used for different functions in the body. And prana, when circulates well in the energy channels, then only your nervous system, your blood circulatory system, your lymphatic system, your hormonal glands, and your brain, your nervous system, everything, musculoskeletal system, everything, all the system in your body functions well. But if your prana is going towards the combustion of Kundalini, then your body will be suffering from multiple chronic illnesses, pain, fatigue, then fibromyalgia issues, neuropathy, and so many other brain and mental health disorders like Alzheimer, dementia, multiple sclerosis, bipolar, schizophrenia, psychosis, lunatic kind of condition, then Alzheimer, Parkinson disease, arthritis problem, sometimes partial paralysis kind of condition. So you must be aware of the problems that you are already facing, and for that you study the other discourses in which I have discussed in detail. Coming back to your Kundalini's combustion process. This Kundalini's combustion process requires lots of prana, and now in order to flow through the Sushumna, both your Ida Nadi and Pingla Nadi should be balanced. It is important to understand why Ida and Pingla Nadi should be balanced, because only when your Ida Nadi and Pingla Nadi are balanced, then your Sushumna is balanced. If Ida is on the extreme and Pingla is also on the extreme or not functioning, then your Sushumna is not opened. And when your Sushumna is not opened, then Kundalini will not flow. When Kundalini will not flow, it will create pressure in your energy channels. It will create blockages, pressure on your chakras, and you will suffer from many symptoms like involuntary movement of your nervous system, body, the shaking, headaches, migraines, and most of the time you will feel diseased and you are suffering from some issues which you cannot solve. So Ida is responsible for your parasympathetic nervous system on the physical level, and Pingla is responsible for your sympathetic nervous system on the physical level. The function of Ida is to give you the cooling effect, the effect of the lunar or the moon effect. That is, it makes your system peaceful. And the effect of Pingla is to make you active, to make you extrovert, to make you participate in life, and to activate your action oriented dynamism in life. Excess of Pingla is also bad because it will lead to over activation of your sympathetic nervous system, and over activation of sympathetic nervous system will always keep you in stress mode, anxiety mode, and fight, flight and freeze mode. Similarly, if you are in excess of, means maximum in parasympathetic mode, then you will be suffering from more lethargy, more laziness, depression and loneliness, and very much depressive in life all the time, not being able to do any function in life. You are going towards more introvert nature, loneliness, not able to connect with people. So there are many problems that arise due to overactivation of Ida Nadi. So you should not do any kind of breathing practices that is actually activating more of your Ida and more of your Pingla. You should balance the system, and that is why I will teach you only one technique that you can apply to balance your Ida and Pingla, and that will lead to the activation of your Sushumna. And this is only and only advisable for people, for students who are going through Kundalini Awakening. You have diagnosed yourself, you have already been my student, you have already taken my consulting, and you have been my student and worked in project, or already my student working in projects. All right, so do this technique, because once you do it, you will feel that when your Ida Nadi and Pingla Nadi are balanced, and when you do this technique, then your, on the physical level, your vagus nerve gets activated. And when your vagus nerve gets activated, gradually it leads to the activation of Sushumna. And that is important for Kundalini. And also it leads to the combustion process of prana in a balanced way, without creating any havoc. Alright, so this technique is very simple. You need to breathe from your right nostril. It is also called Nari Shodhana Pranayama with Kumbhak. With Kumbhak means with breath hold. Now this technique you may have learnt somewhere else. I will suggest you that even if you have learnt earlier or done earlier, while watching this discourse, you pay attention to what I am saying, how I am showing you, and do it my way. Only then you will be benefited. If you do it your way, you will not be benefited, and you will have other problems. And I am not responsible for those problems. All right. So let's start. The step 1 is, first I will explain to you and then I will show you. First step, I have divided it into different parts, and each part, each action has its importance. The importance is in terms of activating your respiratory centers. Your breathing centers are not activated, and that is why you are facing all the problem. Kundalini is not rising through the Sushumna. So in order for Kundalini to rise up, you have to follow all the steps in very much sequence. And that is, number 1 step is, you have to close your left nostril. This you need to close like this and breathe through your right nostril. Breathe in slowly. First step is breathe in slowly through your right nostril. This is step 1. Step 2 is hold your breath. Step 3 is breathe out, exhale through your left nostril. Step 4 is hold your breath. Now this is set 1. Set 1 means inhale through your right nostril, hold the breath, exhale through your left nostril, hold the breath. When you are inhaling and holding, it is called internal breath hold. When you are exhaling and then holding, it is called external breath hold. So this is set 1. After doing set 1, you need to inhale through your left nostril. This will become, in set 2, the reverse you have to do. and that is, first step will become inhale through your left nostril. Step 2 for set 2 will be hold your breath, internal hold, then exhale through your right nostril. This is step 3, and step 4 will be again holding your breath. And you have to do it very consciously, very deliberately, in the moment. So I will show you, and you can keep your eyes closed while doing this. You can observe me right now. I have already explained the steps, so you can observe how I do it. And do it very slowly, very slowly. No need to hurry. You don't have to go anywhere. If you do slowly, deliberately, consciously, you have to pay your intention, you have to pay your attention, you have to be present with the breath, you have to be aware of what you are doing, and you have to be conscious about it. Only after following these 5 things, when you do it, you will get the benefits. Alright? So, I'm starting. I did set 1 and set 2 both, and this becomes a circle. When you do this circle for 21 times first, you will feel a shift in energy happening. If already your Kundalini is in active mode, you will feel that Kundalini is moving through your spine and you will feel some jerk. So right now I showed you only once. If you want to learn exactly and do in my presence, then you need to contact my team and book the appointment for the consultation or learning this technique, because it is advisable to do in the presence of the Guru to get the results. When you do in my presence, my power will also unite with your energy, and that will benefit you, because the Kundalini in you listens to me because of my power. I am the divine, powerful Kundalini of the universe, the Shakti energy, and that will work in your favor if you are surrendered to me and you are doing this technique along with me. Alright, so this is just the hint that you can try 21 times, not any harm or side effects, and see what happens in you. And after that, you lie down in Shavasana, that is corpse pose, means do nothing. And do this technique for at least devote 30 minutes time to do it very slowly. Very slowly. It has to be extremely slowly and consciously. If you do it in hurry, you will not get the benefits. And Kundalini will, in fact, will become more like disturbed, and you will feel the disturbance. It will activate your mind, and that will be problematic for you. So, understanding behind Kundalini energy flow, Ida, Pingla and Sushumna is important from the deep spiritual perspective. Only when you are going to be free, only when you are enlightened, only when you have gone beyond enlightenment, then understanding these is very important. If you are in the beginning of your Kundalini awakening journey, don't try this technique. This is a disclaimer. It is not going to help you. It is not beneficial to you. It is only for those who are on the advanced level of Kundalini awakening journey and they have the problem with managing Kundalini downloads every day. So this technique will have benefits to you for your vagus nerve and Sushumna integration, management of your downloads of everyday energy, and at the same time, the second technique that I will teach you, that will also help Kundalini to rise up the Sushumna in a balanced way and balance your Ida and Pingla Nadi. The understanding behind this technique I will give you sometime later. Right now you just only learn it. Number 1 step is you have to exhale out fast, and the second step to this is if you have to inhale fast. So I call this entire set as energy booster. When you do this energy booster, you will see that Kundalini is doing its function very well, and there is no side effect to it. You will be filled with energy and you will get the benefits immediately. So let's do the energy booster set. I will exhale fast, blow exhalation faster, and then inhalation faster, that is fast Bhastrika you can say, or fast inhalation. Don't be confused in the names, you just understand the function. So fast blow exhalation is like this, and fast inhalation Bhastrika is like this. Alright, so you can use this technique multiple times in a day, 50 times, 100 times, or 10 times throughout the day to feel the integration of Kundalini energy and how it is processing so well. And last technique for Kundalini to rise up slowly in the Sushumna Nadi and to balance your Ida and Pingla. This is my favorite and I do it 24/7. You too also do it and you will see the difference it creates in your life. And that is mouth exhalation 24/7, slow, deep, long and complete. You should feel that you are complete. You have exhaled all the air and that you need to do it very slowly like this. Sometimes you can do it with the sound of Om like this. Or with the sound of Brahmari, that is or you can assign number to it. In the mind, you can count from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like this. So either you can attach with sound or you can attach with numbers, sound also Om, Aum or sound. These three sounds will help you and you will feel the difference in your life, in your energy, and you will feel energetic like the Guru. Alright, have a great day. Bye bye. Thank you.